So, can't I just live a good life to be with God? Well, some people believe that when we die, getting into heaven will be dependent on a sort of weighing of our good deeds against our bad. And most of us reckon that actually we're pretty good. But first, what does it mean to be good? We argue that if we haven't done anything desperately wrong, if we're not a murderer, then surely we're okay with God. The Bible teaches differently. We will be judged by God's standards, not our own. God is perfect. He has never done anything wrong. Because he is so pure and holy, his character is the standard of perfection. Being honest with ourselves, we know that all of us have fallen short of this standard. We have all done things that we know are wrong, however insignificant they may seem to us. The Apostle Paul, who penned the book of Romans, concluded, "As we have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, let us not compare ourselves with one another, but rather the glory of God." Secondly, we are aware that we are not people we should be. We feel guilty for some things we have done. We know that we haven't met our standards of morality in life, let alone God's standards. Looking at Jesus' summary of God's commands leaves us all condemned. Love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbour as yourself. We know we do not do these things. The definition of neighbour, according to Jesus, is literally everyone, including our enemies. Compared to a perfect God, we don't do well. Thirdly, to God's morality isn't the ultimate standard. According to the Bible, it is our response to God. God created the world and us. He gives us life, but we ignore him. And that is the worst disobedience. We don't even put God as number one in our lives. He is often not even a footnote in our short existence. The Bible does not leave us to wallow in our own godless state. Instead, it teaches that God loved us so much that he sent Jesus, who lived a perfect life, went around doing good, but then who died on the cross to take away punishment for the wrong of which we are each guilty. We don't need to try to be good enough. We will never be good enough. We cannot become right with God by ourselves. We have to rely on the only thing that is sufficient to cover our sins. The forgiveness that is offered by Jesus, his death on the cross. We neglect it at our peril. Remember, if you have any more questions, email quizachristian23@gmail.com and make sure to watch more videos for more answers to learn about Jesus. I will upload as soon as possible, and if you have any questions, please feel free to email. I won't judge any questions. No question is ridiculous. Thank you. This is Quiz